So happy to have you with me this week on the show. Whether you have been joining and listening in on Happified over the 3 years that I have been bringing this show to you, or if you're new, I want to give you a peek behind the scenes, what we've been doing, what is coming along the line, let you know what changes you get to look forward to, and share opportunities to connect and continue to build community. Because that's a really important aspect of why I have been inspired to create and maintain Happified, and why I'm honored to have you share your time and your attention with me, and what I hope you'll be joining me in moving forward. Living in a stressful world doesn't mean you have to give up on happiness. Instead, you can shift your perspective of stress and discover how to live your life in flow. Welcome to Happified. I'm your host, Susie Vine. Join me for inspiration and interviews with folks who are shining their light in the world in the areas of positive mindset, health, and wellness. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome back. I am so happy to have you with me this week on the show. This week it's just you and me. I'd love to talk with you a little bit about what's been going on lately, where we are with the show, and what you can expect moving forward, as this is episode number 149 episodes that I have created to share with you over the last 3 years since I launched Happified on August 18th. In the very auspicious year of 2020, my own COVID baby. We have been humming along here at 3XHQ, as I like to call it. My website is 3X Less Stress. That always refers to those 3 aspects of stress you have heard me talk about over the years here on the show. And for those of you listening who have found me through the podcast itself, you can get to that website just by going to happifiedlife.com. That's an easy little redirect that will take you to my website, where you'll be able to find all the episodes and everything else that I might talk about as we go through this episode that I am sharing with you this week. So thank you, first of all. Thank you for joining me in this ride. Thank you for being a part of the movement, as I call it. I'm going to throw some air quotes on there, but I really believe passionately that the kind of information that I'm sharing, the kind of inspiration that I hope that you're receiving from the show is really freaking important. It's really important that we individually, independently step into what I feel is a really necessary movement, and that is reclaiming control of our health, of our happiness, of what our future is going to look like, not sitting down and going with the flow and taking things at face value and accepting what Western medicine tends to tell us is normal, big air quotes on the normal term, especially as we age. So we're going to talk about it all this week. So thanks for joining me again. I'm always honored that you share your precious time with me. And so just kind of touching base on what has been the purpose, the focus of the show, what it is moving forward, and what you can expect coming soon across the airwaves, the video, the ways in which you find me here on Happified. So first, you probably want to know what to expect here, right? Maybe you came across the show because you know me or someone recommended it to you. Perhaps it jumped up at you as you were scrolling through looking for the next podcast to listen in on, in which case I'm, again, honored to have you joining me. But I want to kind of share in a nutshell, if that's possible, my purpose in creating the show and who I'm really passionate about helping. You probably know that I am one of those Generation X kids. I was one of those latchkey kids, one of those free range kids, to a point, not perhaps to the extent that many people my age were if you lived in a more urban area, but I help those of us, Generation X. And if you're not sure if that's you or if it's not, well, I help midlifers, if you will. I help those of us in the middle of our lives, just about as much ahead of us, if we play our cards right, as there is behind us to look back on. I help people in this age group, the sandwich generation, if you want to call it that, now that we have kids aging out of the home and parents starting to require more care. I want to help you fortify your health so that you have the energy to do all that you want to do without sacrificing time or fun, that's not a prerequisite to being happier and healthier. That doesn't mean a huge investment of time and sacrificing your fun. We don't have to give up the things that light us up. And I do that through what I share with my own clients, through stress coaching, through working with flower essences and other natural modalities, through what I have coalesced into my Thriving Life process, which is a more holistic and natural and empowering way that you can develop the tools, fill out your own toolbox, find out what works for you so that you always have the means to set yourself back on track, to nourish yourself, to feel renewed, to have more energy, to get better rest, to make it easier, to eat healthier, to create a healthier home, all of that, right? Everything that goes into what I like to call a thriving life. I like to create processes and methods so that you have these to refer to. So I want to help you. If you're Generation X, if you just find yourself in the middle of life, you might not be as busy, as occupied as raising young children, but you might be finding that you need to give more time to caring for your parents or other family members. How can you have all the energy to do everything that you want without sacrificing what precious time and what opportunities for fun that you have so that you can still do the things that light you up? So if that's you, welcome aboard. If you know someone who fits the bill, I hope that you'll share this episode with them. Again, happifiedlife.com is the website where you're going to find all of my previous episodes. It's got a search feature so you can search by terms if you want to dial in on a particular topic. You can also connect with me there at the top of the page through Join the Movement. You can join my email list so you'll be getting updates about other exciting things that are coming down the line, or just reach out to me through the contact form there and send me a message. Let me know what is relevant for you, what you've been receiving for the show. I would love to hear from you and make this a more engaged, a more open line of conversation so that I really feel like I'm on point, I'm keeping things relevant and supportive for you where you are right now. So if you've been with me for a little while, you might be noticing, if you catch me on YouTube or if you're just catching the podcast on one of your favorite players, that the cover has a different look. I have played with the color, with the look a little bit recently, and that's part of why I wanted to have this episode where we're just talking about what's going on. When I started the show 3 years ago, I wanted something very happy, given the name Happified, energized, engaging, but also free form and unstructured, something that had energy, but was left open as well. I didn't want to fill in all the blanks and kind of give you permission to color outside the lines. I feel now like a more balanced, more calm, more cohesive theme is more supportive. Also, just in terms of creating images, short videos to convey the messages, to let you know what episodes are out, what you might be looking for, so it's easier to find. I've just started sharing some shorts on YouTube to give you a little bit of a taste of what is inside the episode. And just as I said, to make that all more cohesive and frankly pleasing to the eye, I wanted to play with the look a little bit. So you probably have noticed a new cover, or if you're new to me, welcome aboard. I hope that you enjoy the look and that it brings you a little bit of a feel of peace. The last thing I want this show to do is to add to any chaos, any overwhelm, any confusion. There is plenty of that out there in the rest of the world. When you join me, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to bring your favorite beverage, whatever that might be. I hope I can join you out on a walk or doing some errands around the house. I hope I can keep you company and keep your mind engaged and pose some topics or some ideas that might lead you to have some questions so that we don't take things at face value anymore. We don't just consume what we're being served up through marketing, through corporate interests, and we really feel inspired. I hope that you join me in claiming this autonomy to chart our own course, to choose the life that you want to live now, the future that you want to step into later, the way you want that to feel for yourself, and feel empowered to make it happen. That's really what I'm here for. That's why I keep showing up every week, creating this show, self-producing. I do all of it from the concept to the editing to the promotion after it's published. I do every little piece of this right now in this iteration. I have had help producing my podcast over the first 1 or 2 years, but for the last year, it's been my own baby. And I hope that even though things could be different, the lighting could be different, maybe there's some issues with the audio. If you have any tips, send them my way. Use that contact form. But I thank you for being a part of this little grassroots project that I started myself and that I have been maintaining through the midst of everything else that life is serving up. And I know you can relate to me on that front. I'm happy to have you here with me. Thanks for letting me give you a little bit of preface, but I want to let you know too what you can expect here within the show. My intention has always been to offer you resources that are useful and informative without being overwhelming. And if you were with me from the beginning, or if you've ever searched through old episodes, you know that primarily the first 1.5 years, 2 years of the show, I did a lot of interviews. I brought a lot of people on the show. I introduced a lot of new concepts and ideas from grounded in Western medicine and science, from the front edges of psychology. I love positive psychology and all that has to offer us. And a little more of the woo side, a little more spiritual or modes of energetic healing and things that are more experiential. I know that I've got my scientific minds out there that want to see the data, and I advocate that. And I'm excited to be in this place now where science is starting to catch up with traditions that are thousands of years old. Science is starting to understand why practices like acupuncture work so beautifully. Because we are energetic beings and we have these meridians, these pathways, highways of energy that move through our body. And when we can lose the restriction, when we lose the inhibitions, those things that keep our energy from flowing freely, whether that is on the physical level, in the emotional and the mental level, whenever we can free our energy to flow again, health is possible. We can come back to health. So I really want to share with you these resources without being overwhelming, without making you feel like everything I introduce you to is the one thing that is going to support you moving forward. What I hope I do is pique your curiosity, is introduce you to voices who have got something to say that you've never heard before or never heard said in that way, so that it lands a little differently, so that you might be inspired to look more deeply into a different modality or work with a practitioner if it's something that you haven't been able to resolve before. Or maybe it shines a light on an issue that you didn't realize was an issue, but it was just a point of discomfort. Because I think that we've been settling for kind of this feeling of meh, this feeling of it's not too broken, I don't need to fix it, right? This feeling of complacency. And I want you to be inspired to reclaim that authority that you have to live your best life, to feel as well as you can, to wake up in the morning rested and energized and looking forward to engaging in your day, to feel like you have something, even if it's not something that falls within the regular structured work week, but to feel like you have something that you're so passionate about that you look forward to the days in your life and the opportunities to express that. So I also want to inspire you with answers to questions that you maybe didn't know yet that you have. I also want to remove the stigma and to normalize the ability to talk about issues that we are all facing. You probably caught me at the beginning. I'm like, I just want to talk to Gen X people. We're midlife. We can say that now. I'll be 47 in a month. I can say that I am midlife and the issues that go along with that. Last week, I had a fantastic conversation I was pleased to share with you about what are the issues women are facing in perimenopause. So these issues that you might have friends that you're comfortable talking with them, you might not. I want this to be a place where there might be a topic where you don't know that you have as much company, as much solidarity as you can realize. Men's health, women's health issues, we have taken a look into all of those, and I plan to keep that coming for you supporting our children as they leave the nest and become more independent, supporting our parents as health issues come up and they may start to lose their independence. And that sweet spot right there, that taking care of our parents, is another entry point that I see as we are in this lovely, highly desirable era of midlife. We can see now through lenses that maybe we weren't using before. We can see through the experience of our parents what health issues may be waiting for us down the line. And I hope that is an inspiration to you to, again, take back that control, empower yourself to write your own story, to use the power of epigenetics, of healthier habits, to create an environment for you to stay healthy, regardless of what genetic influence you have, regardless of the influence that comes through our environmental exposures to toxins and chemicals. Yes, we can have better living through chemicals. And yes, we can choose how that influence shows up, but we have to be informed and knowing the choices that we're making. So I hope that's something that you find here, looking for fulfillment in your career or beyond your career, and simply finding ways to feel more positive about the choices that we have, recognizing that through the course of the day, we have an endless list of choices. We don't have one make or break choice. Just because we don't have perhaps the most optimal breakfast doesn't mean the whole day is a wash. As my dear friend, Dr. Sam Larkin, one of my first guests on the show, says, and I love to call back on this, every day is a fresh page in your book, and you get to choose what you're writing on it. So I hope that through the information, through the way that I bring these to your awareness, you start to feel less subject to and more empowered by the choices that we have to make. Looking ahead in the shows that are coming forward, I'm going to be playing with the balance a little bit. You've probably noticed, if you've been with me for a while, I went from a weekly format to a bi-monthly format. I've got episodes coming out every other Thursday now. If I've got more content, I might push them out a little more frequently, but you can expect to see a new episode every other Thursday. And those episodes, I went from, as we all do, there's always a pendulum. I went from doing almost only interviews to quite a while over this last year where I have been doing almost only solo episodes, really sharing of my own thoughts, ideas, the information that I've gathered and put together in what may be ways you have never seen things woven together to share with you what I feel is logical and let you look through your own lens, let you see if that feels relevant and supportive for you. And I'm coming back to bringing more voices back to the show. So you can look forward to having more interviews, being introduced to more modalities or perspectives. And again, from Western medicine to complementary healing to traditional practices and those more energetic modalities that you might be intrigued by but haven't heard much about, or perhaps you haven't met yet. I hope this is a place where you can start to meet them and feel into what you'd like to learn more about. Beyond those interviews, I'm also going to be introducing some stress buster sessions where I give you the opportunity to bring your own questions, your own experience, your own struggles with how stress is showing up in your life, whether that's physically, emotionally, or environmentally. Those are my 3 aspects of stress. And there's a lot of overlap there. So if you're just feeling a pain point, if you're feeling stressed out, but you can't really put your finger on it, if you think it's work, if you think it's relationships, if you think it's your home life, where you're living or working, and the way that the environment is impacting you, I invite you to reach out to me. I'm going to have a invitation on my website now. So at happifiedlife.com, you will find a link to join these stress buster sessions, to fill out a form so that I can find out what it is that you'd like to take a look at, and we can record a time. You're welcome to come on the show. If you don't want to come on the show, you can still reach out to me. I also have on my website my book a call free 30 minutes that, as much as I have time available, I like to hold that on my calendar for people with inquiries, for questions. You can reach out to me that way. But I think after I get some of these on the program, you'll see how helpful it is to hear from other people just like yourself, going through the same things, the daily grind, desiring to do more, but where do we get the time, the energy, the resources to do that, so that you can find inspiration from their stories and that you might share some inspiration with others. through your own experience. So those Stress Buster sessions, you'll find a link at happifiedlife.com if that appeals to you. And I am introducing, coming soon, my Happy Pod parties, my Happified podcast family parties, so that we have an opportunity to get together live to have conversations about what is coming up on the shows. My plan for those at this point is to have one of those parties on the Thursday that every other show is released. That gets a little bit tricky since every other show doesn't necessarily mean the third Thursday of every month. Occasionally it will, but I will be having those dates shared if you're on my email list. If you are in my Facebook group, Live with Less Stress, you will get updates and you'll know when those are coming. You can get the Zoom link to join us in the Zoom room. It'll be a chance to have conversation, to join in with other listeners who have been tuning into the show a long time, but also to join me to bring your questions. If you want to dive more deeply, if there's something you want to explore or learn more about, that's an opportunity to come together, to create community, to have some more opportunity for me to hear directly from you about what you're looking for, what I can be bringing to the show to support you better. So I hope that I will be seeing and hearing from you soon. I hope that you'll take the opportunity to join my email list. That's on 3xlessstress.com. If you click the Join the Movement button at the top of the page, there's a form there. You can join my list. You can also join the conversation on Facebook in the Live with Less Stress Facebook group. There are many ways that I hope you will see we can get connected. If you watch the videos on YouTube, you're always welcome to leave a comment there as well. And please, if you feel inspired, if you feel like this is something that can support friends, or if you just want someone else to talk about these episodes with, share the show with friends. Help people find Happified by leaving a comment or a review on Spotify or on Apple if you get your podcasts there. Subscribe so that you get the notification when a new episode is available. And join me in this movement, in taking the inspiration, in reclaiming our power, in creating the life that I know that you are going to love stepping into. If you're one of my Gen X compatriots, I know that you're with me when we still shake our tiny fists, right? We still want to throw our middle fingers up at the man and say, you're not going to tell me what this looks like. And in my experience through the different work that I've done, you've probably heard me telling stories about working with clients in their 80s and 90s. I know that we're not going to want people writing that kind of end to our story, that we're not going to want people telling us we can't live where we want or do the things that we want because our health is stealing our independence. I know that we can reclaim our independence, that we can maintain it. We took it very early, my fellow Gen Xers. We had that key on a shoestring around our neck. We can still maintain the independence and the lifestyle that we want. And if you're not there now, it's not too late to claim it. So I hope that you'll join me. I thank you for being with me on this episode, and I look forward to continuing the conversation moving forward. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Thanks for joining us today. To learn more about living life with less stress and more flow, visit happifiedlife.com. Subscribe on your favorite player to catch the next episode as soon as it's out. Sharing really is caring, so please rate and review the show while you're there. And if you know someone else who would love it, please pass it along. Until next time, my friends, keep on shining.